Hello, welcome to another Journeys with Jeff. Nice to have you here with us. We have a great guest tonight. I'm sure you'll find her very, very interesting, and I hope you enjoy it. I'd like to introduce our guest for today, Ellen Watt. Ellen, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Nice being here.
Tell us, just so that the folks know, where are you from?
Outside of Boston, Massachusetts, from Newton. So I lived in Massachusetts till I came to Connecticut in '65 for my first job
What
here.
was that? Where did you work?
I
What
taught
did you do?
I taught fourth grade for 2 years. I decided I was more interested in helping kids with problems, so I left teaching, got my master's, and went into school counseling.
So you spent your life, your professional life, working with kids, and
Yeah, middle school. I loved it.
was that rewarding?
Yes.
What would you love about it the most?
Oh, I liked having the kids, especially middle school. They're all over the place. I wouldn't want to teach that age, but I liked having them a place that they can go. If their girls were in arguments or some kid got kicked out of some place and they didn't want to send them to the office, they sent them to me. So I sort of liked that kind of thing. You know,
yeah.
the kids their hormones are going all over the place and they're a little zooey, but I loved it. So,
Well, you got the rewarding thing was to work the interaction with these kids and see how you contributed to some of their growth, and that's got to feel good.
well, I had this boy that was we had kids in from Hartford, and he was a tall, thin kid, and when he was 13, had a very heart-to-heart talk about an issue. And later he came back and he said, "Mrs. Watt, I want a counselor just like you at the high school." And so that sort of warmed my heart, you know? And so it was rather nice.
So you made that impression. That's got to
Yeah.
feel good.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good. So, jumping ahead over that career, that stellar career that you had, one of the things that, from what I understand, what we've talked about, is that in recent years, you retired, and you've become very involved in dancing. How did you get interested? What got you into dancing?
Well, most of my life I was not involved with dancing. Once I came into my retirement building, there's a track downstairs. I decided to walk on the track. So it was very boring until somebody said, "Listen to music." So I started listening to music. And then my feet started dancing to the music. And then when I turned 75, one of my best friend and my son said, "What do you want for your 75th birthday?" And I said, "Dance lessons." So I got my dance shoes and my dance lessons. So I started on the track when I was 72. I'm now
Okay, so
81.
it wasn't. Be more specific.
Okay.
It wasn't tap dancing. It wasn't ballet.
No.
How would you how would you categorize it?
West Hartford Fred Astaire Dance Studio.
Ah,
So I took dance lessons there once a week. And so,
is that ballroom dancing? Is
well,
that
it's
what's it
ballroom
called?
dancing, except I do more contemporary dance. Yes, it's ballroom dancing, but I know waltzes and those kind of things, but I tend to do what they call freestyle. I make up my own dances, and then I also do numbers in a few shows, which is new, which is part of what we were talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Have you been in any shows, any
Yeah, well,
competitions or exhibits or exhibitions or whatever?
Well, 3 years ago, I was in a show at the Klein Theater in Bridgeport. And so I did one number, which was Give Me a Reason by Pink. All right, that was the first thing I did. Then I did a few small local competitions way back at my studio. But 2 years ago, I was in a New England Fred Astaire Championship in Mystic. I did one number. These were all on my age level, which is 81, and on my experience level, which is 6 years. So then this year, I was in the New England Championship in Greenwich. I did one solo, which I did very well at, and then I did 8 other dances. Which
How do you qualify for the championship? Is there certain levels of competition that you?
No, not that I know of. No, but I think my dance teacher thought I was well enough to do it. I'm not. If you watch, I don't watch Dancing with the Stars, but they have different levels.
Yeah.
I'm sort of bronze. There's bronze, silver, gold. I'm bronze, and somewhere in the middle of bronze. But my rhythm and stuff is pretty good. I'm not real precise, but that I'm working on. So.
And you what was one of the dances? Would give me a reason.
Yeah, that's the
By
one in Bridgeport.
was that by Pink?
Yep.
And what is that? What's give you a did you do the improv to that?
No, I picked the music, but the dance was choreographed by my dance teacher.
And did you do it with a partner or?
Yes, all these are
partner.
done with my dance teachers.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's a good question. I don't have a separate dance partner, but I have a dance instructor. And when I started, especially that number, I had a tremendous amount of trouble learning a routine. I thought I could never do it. One of the people in the building used to watch me dance, and she said, "Oh, you can do it." And I go, "No, I can't. I can't do it." And so I needed a cheering section for me to even get that far. So now I do better. But
What building? You say a building. What building do you
the
live
name
in?
of the building, Court of St. James in West Hartford.
Court of St. James.
Yes.
I hear there's some wonderful people live over there.
Yes, they are. It's a small senior independent living community. It is very nice. I love it there. I've been there for 11 years.
Wow.
And
Wow, really.
I'm very happy there. Yeah.
And Bill and Siobhan and Al are the running that place, huh?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you got some great residents, Mary Alice and Jim and Al. Who do you do the gardening with? You do gardening there, right?
Well, I was with Elisa McCarthy.
Yeah.
And then I'm friends with Joan that does photography.
Joan, right?
She
Yeah.
does photography of birds and flowers. She also sends them out to have bags made up and pillows and stuff. So she has a minor business
Wow.
due to her. She's a very good photographer.
It sounds like a great community. You're very fortunate to have the support and the companionship of all those wonderful people over there.
Yeah.
Now tell me, in 2023, Britney Spears had a dance or a song called Womanizer.
Yep.
And what did you do? Did you dance to that?
Yep. I danced to that. I picked that music also. We did a song. This is at the New England Championship in Mystic. I did the one number. It was fun. I love that number. It was just fun to do.
How did you do? Did you win it? Did you win that one or?
Yeah, yeah. I won that one too. That was, but it just was fun to do. And yes, I did. I don't remember like the scores or anything of that particular one, but I did do that.
Who are the judges? Who judges? How many judges are there?
They usually have, they usually get a score sheet from 3 judges. So they give me the score sheets later. And so I see sort of their comments and their, how they rate me on different skills. Sense of rhythm, good. Usually they're good or excellent, so that kind of thing. So it's nice. It gives you feedback from the different judges, and they give you the sheets, so which is nice.
And that was 2023.
Yeah.
And so you're getting into competitions. You're taking lessons at the Fred Astaire studio. You're practicing in the indoor track.
Yep.
And you're really honing your skill, as it were. Let's go to the just recently, 2024. You were in a recent competition.
Yeah, yeah. Again, in New England fair stair competitions. That's not the formal name for it, but this was in Greenwich.
In 2020, that was just recently, right?
Yes,
How
just a
many
couple of weeks ago.
how many dances did you do that
9.
9 dances?
I did one solo, which is what I'd done solos before.
Yeah.
And then I did 8 that were done with other people dancing on the floor. And so I did 8. A lot of those were like Latin numbers. The solo takes a lot of hours of work. The other ones were more following my teacher and listening to the music, all right? So it's a sort of a different thing. It's the 2 parts. The first part, the judges grade me. Most of my scores were up about 95 on up. And so, but there were a lot of sort of first place, but those were on the higher end. And then the other ones, each dance was a first, second, third. So I did first place in all those. And those were, several of them were Latin dances, which I tend to like, but they also had the hustle and the merengue and all those different kinds of things.
I love Van McCoy, the hustle.
Oh, yeah.
Do you dance to the hustle?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'll turn to and those people. They get the group of people. They're all doing in synchronizing their.
Oh yeah, well I don't do the group thing, but I do separate hustle, separate.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs.
Oh,
So
nice.
you were nine dances, and did you win for all of them? You won first prize in all of them?
Yep. As a matter of fact, I was so surprised that I didn't believe my teacher, and so because he went over the scores the next week on those, and so he showed it to me on his phone. He said, "I'll show it to you in print that you did first place in those." So it's
What are some of the categories, or what are some of the that you said you have you went over it with your teacher? What are some of your what would you say are some of your that you guys have decided? What are some of your strengths when it comes to your dancing?
well, he went over the videos and of the last competition.
Yeah.
And he said, I knew some of these. I have a good sense of rhythm. I follow the dance teacher very well. I have. There's a third thing.
You're good when it comes to the improv. You're very creative when it comes to because your improv is you're doing your own off the top of your head.
Right.
And that's one of your strengths too.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
I do, and my weakness is my preciseness. I have to work on, like I was down this morning, trying to, look at a spot on the wall, keep my head up, keep my arms out straight instead of down, this kind of thing. The little preciseness, I have to work on. So.
Well, like most performers, or virtually all performers, I'm sure. Just before the competition begins, there's always a certain level of, nervousness or whatever. How do you when you're on there and you're at the competition and you're waiting to do your thing? How's it feeling? What's going on inside you there?
Well, the thing is, 3 years ago I wasn't nervous at all. 2 years ago, I wasn't nervous at all. This time, I was so nervous before that I told my teacher I was withdrawing from the competition, which cost a lot of money. I said, I'll lose the money. I do not want to go. And so he said, why? And I said, well, I really don't do a good enough job. And so he said, he did a smart teacher thing. He said, how about we do a few more lessons and just see where you're at. He never brought it up again. We just sort of floated into the competition. But I was all set to withdraw. I told my sister overseas, I said, I'm not doing it. I refuse to do it, etc. But that was when anxiety had built up. But when I actually did it, I was very nervous to answer some of your questions. I was very nervous up until about 2 days before, and then I sort of let go of it. You know how you deal with something and you mull around and then you let go of it. That's sort of what I did. And so I had fun at it. I looked back and I thought I really enjoyed myself. I thought, I could have been a nervous wreck. I could have thought of all the mistakes I made. I just plain came out feeling I had fun.
Well, you said the first 2 times you didn't feel any anxiety,
Right.
any spookus, any butterflies. But the last time, this last time you did, what happened between the first and second time and the third time? Did you expect more of yourself then, or something, or?
I don't know. I haven't really figured that out. I don't know whether it's because I was doing 9 versus 1. I went from 1 to 9.
Oh, that's a big leap. That's a
That's
lot.
a big leap.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if it was that. I don't know, because I learned, I knew the routine well, and I thought I did a halfway decent job at it. I had things to work on, but I had got past that hump. So in other words, I don't really know, except I'm thinking it's because I went to 9.
Yeah, that's a big, that's a lot to work, through your mind, it's, it can get yourself a little bit overwhelmed feeling about that.
Yeah.
But once you started, as you said, once you started the ball rolling there, you got into it and it went away.
And the funny thing, backtracking to, I know it's off the topic a little bit, but when I was, I forget what I was going to say. It had to do with practicing on the track, but anyways, I forget that part.
That's all right. All right. No problem.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to, aside from just the dancing itself, most people, whatever outside interests or involvements they have, they usually get better at it, or they learn something from it. What is your experience as in dance? What have it taught? What have you learned about yourself? What do you take away from your experiences in dance, in the competition, as a student, as a practitioner? What have you learned about yourself through this?
Well, 10 years ago, I could not have done this show. So I learned that, well, I went from a house to an apartment building. I was a loner most of my life. So I became more outgoing in where I lived. And so that's partly it. So my artistic side sort of started coming out, which was my dancing and a few other things, a little bit photography. And that, okay.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right, so in other words, so what have I learned about myself? That I was able to do something relatively new and stick with it and enjoy it. And like I said, 10 years ago, I might not have been able to do any of this. So, because I was always a pretty shy person most of my life. And so I was not a center stage person. I was in a job where I did counseling, so I did a little bit of stuff, but if I spoke in front of a group, I had to write out every single word I said. In other words, I couldn't be spontaneous. I was that inhibited way back, but I've got less inhibited. And my dance teacher said, he said, not many people can do freestyle like you can, Ellen. I said, how come? He said, they're usually too inhibited. I said, well, 10 years ago, that would have been me. Now, and somebody says, maybe because you're older and you say, the heck with it, I'll just be myself. So who knows? But I've grown that way, Jeff, to sort of answer your question.
Well, that's a major thing there. To look back and in your earlier in your life where you tended to be shy and a little bit inhibited, maybe withdrawn. Maybe it had something to do with how the confidence maybe that you had in yourself. But over the years and these experiences have changed a lot of that. So you feel more confident, less inhibited. I mean, to go up in front of strangers and do an improvisational dance.
Well, the thing is, I grew up in a tough situation. I'm not getting into it, but the thing is, it affected certain things in my personality, and so I overcame several of them. All right, and so this is some of overcoming that, and partly it's age and experience, that kind of thing. So things I couldn't have done before, I can. I used to, as a kid, try everything, but I was never good at anything. I tried basketball. Never made a basket in my life in high school, but I did I did after school basketball. I loved it. I played a great guard, but I never got a basket. And a basket story quickly, my grandson many years ago said, "Grandma, he watched me play basketball outside." I said, "Oh, good." I said, "Can I try a basket?" So I didn't make it. So he said, "Well, Grandma, try this." I actually made my first basket out of 80 years. So it's funny how you can sort of have those kind of experiences. So digressing a little bit, but that's part of my growth, is especially the last 10 years have been great.
And what do you see uh, in the near future? What do you see if for Ellen Watt in terms of your dancing and your just life in general? What do you?
Good question. I haven't thought about it. I'm going to continue dance lessons. Whether I do a show in another year, I do not know. I told my dance teacher I wouldn't. He said, "Well, wait. There's a student in our building that's in our, no, not building. She's in my dance class that's 97 years old. She did
Wow.
a show. I went to see it in her building, which is a retirement building. She did a 40-minute show. And she said, you know what? She's saying all the time she's going to quit. I said, yeah, well, I know this person. I said, well, maybe I won't quit, but next year I don't think I'm going to do this show. It takes a lot out of you. And so mainly also figuring out costuming, all those little things. You know, body image ties in with your dancing. You know, and I'm not any spring chicken, and I'm also not skinny. So, you know, it doesn't fit the image of a Fred Astaire dance person. You know, so, but I went to a contest. I mean, I went to a competition a few years ago just to watch, and it struck me the different shapes, the different ages that people were. And I first thought, oh, they don't fit the image, and then I thought, this is rather cool. You could be whatever size you are. You could be whatever, you know, as long as you're able to move and stuff, you know, and etc. You know, age, all that stuff. So it's sort of nice, you know, because I don't have to be skinny mini to dance, and so it's nice.
We look back over our shoulders. We've all had a different journey in our lives. If a young person said something to you, a young person just starting out on his or her journey, asked you for some sagacious advice about about engaging life, about themselves, what would you tell them?
Well, I had some axioms. I can't remember all of them. One is not to dwell in guilt, or another one not to dwell in regret. And I have a few other ones that I forgot. The joys of being older, you forget things. But I had a few axioms like that. And by the way, hi Rob, my son, daughter-in-law, Ezra, and Felix. My grandsons and my son. And
Oh, good.
So,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Well, no, that's a very good way to end the show with a shout out to your family. And I want to thank you again for coming and sharing your experience. Very, very interesting. I'm very impressed. I'm sure the viewers are, and you viewers out there. We're gonna cut off for now, but feel free. You do. There'll be an email address or a phone number if you want to get in touch with Ellen. Anybody wants to send a message or reach out to her or to the station, talk about the show, talk about Ellen herself. We'd love to hear from any of you viewers who have anything to ask or to say or to suggest. And again, I want to thank you very, very much for your time, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye bye.